Let's clear one thing up. Your existence is not random. You didn't just happen. You were handcrafted by God with a specific design and intention. The enemy loves to whisper lies that you're a mistake, that you're not enough, that your life doesn't matter. But he's a liar, and the truth is, you are divinely created. You were made on purpose for a purpose. See, when God made you, he didn't make you like anyone else. He gave you a unique fingerprint, a unique voice, and a unique story. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare, you belittle what God has invested in you. He didn't call you to be them. He called you to be you. You've got traits and talents nobody else can copy. That's not a coincidence. That's intentionality. There's a reason you think the way you do, care about the things you care about, and see the world through your lens. That's all part of the design. You were born with divine ingredients, and let me tell you something, life will try to convince you otherwise. Circumstances, failures, broken relationships, they will all try to paint a picture that God got it wrong with you. But God doesn't make mistakes. You're not defective, you're being developed. When you stop seeing yourself as a mistake and start seeing yourself as a mission, everything shifts. You walk differently, talk differently, think differently. You begin to move with purpose because you know you were made with it. This isn't motivational fluff. This is truth backed by the evidence of your breath. If you woke up this morning, God's not done. If you're still here, there's still a reason. That's not hype. That's reality. So before we go any further, lock this in your soul. You weren't made by accident. You are chosen, purposed, and sent. Don't ever let anyone talk you out of that truth. A lot of people waste time trying to find their purpose like it's lost under the couch somewhere. Purpose isn't hiding from you. It's already in you. You don't need to go discover it. You need to uncover it. See, purpose doesn't always come with a neon sign. Sometimes it shows up in your pain, in your passion, or in the problems you keep being drawn to fix. The clues are already all over your life. It's not about what you don't have. It's about what you've always had. Your talents, your struggles, your personality, even your setbacks, they're all tools in the process. The problem is we often ignore our gift because it doesn't look flashy. But purpose isn't about flash, it's about function. It's about what you're here to do, not how famous you'll be doing it. Start paying attention to what breaks your heart and what stirs your spirit. Those emotions are often tied to the assignment God put in you. You think your passions are random? They're not. They're pointers. They're arrows aimed toward your God-given lane. When you stop chasing what the world says is success and start chasing your calling, that's when you come alive. You're not here to blend, and you're here to be set apart. But you can't do that by trying to fit everyone else's mold. And here's the truth, uncovering purpose takes obedience, not just ambition. Sometimes God will lead you down strange roads that don't make sense until years later. Trust the process. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You don't have to find your purpose in a rush. You just have to start living intentionally. God doesn't waste your time, he builds it. Every day is another layer of revelation, another edge closer to clarity. Walk with him, and he'll show you what he's put in you. Your purpose is not just for you. That's the crazy part. What God put in you is supposed to bless other people. You don't carry your gift to show off, you carry it to serve. Some of you have a healing gift. Some of you are built to encourage. Others can teach, build, design, lead, protect, or organize. But here's the deal, whatever your gift is, it has power when it's used in the right context. You weren't just given that gift to make money, you were given that gift to make an impact. People are waiting for what's in you. They're suffering because you're sitting on your gift. Every time you doubt yourself, someone else's breakthrough gets delayed. That's how serious this is. Your yes could be the answer to somebody's prayer. You think it's small, but small things in the hands of a big God become life-changing. Don't ever underestimate what God can do through your obedience. One act of faith can start a chain reaction of miracles in other people's lives. You're walking around thinking you're ordinary, but the gift inside of you is extraordinary. The enemy wants you to bury it in fear, but God wants you to release it in faith. Don't die with what he gave you still locked inside. People often say, I don't want to get too big-headed. Baby, you're not being prideful by using your gift, you're being obedient. Humility isn't hiding what God gave you, it's using it and giving him the glory for it. The moment you realize that your gift has nothing to do with ego and everything to do with assignment, you'll stop sitting on it. Somebody's freedom is attached to your courage. Get up and use what you've got. Every time God tries to push you into your calling, you run the other way. You tell yourself you're not ready, not qualified, not good enough. But what if all those excuses are just fear dressed up as logic? What if the thing you're avoiding is the very thing you were created to do? Fear has a way of dressing up like wisdom. It sounds smart, it sounds safe, but it keeps you stuck. You think you're being careful, but you're being disobedient. You're not protecting yourself, you're postponing your purpose. You say, I'm not sure if it's the right time. Let me tell you, purpose doesn't wait for perfect timing. If you're waiting for every detail to make sense, you'll be waiting forever. God doesn't hand out full blueprints, he gives you steps. And he expects you to move when he says move. Every delay driven by fear robs the world of your light. While you're hesitating, someone else is hurting. While you're overthinking, someone else is drowning in the very thing God equipped you to rescue them from. Running from your assignment doesn't cancel it because it just puts it on pause. You might feel unqualified, but God never needed your resume, he needs your S. You might feel insecure, but your obedience is more powerful than your confidence. He didn't choose you based on what you have, he chose you because of what he put in you. And let's be real, you've tried running and it didn't bring peace. You've tried hiding and it didn't bring rest. You've been exhausted trying to live a life that wasn't built for your soul. It's not working because it's not you. When you finally stop running and surrender to what's in your spirit, you'll find out it's what you were made for all along. The weight you feel is not punishment, it's the pressure of potential trying to break through. You think because it's hard, it's not from God. That's not how purpose works. Struggles don't mean you're off track. They often mean you're right where you're supposed to be. God never promised ease, he promised purpose. And sometimes purpose comes through pressure. The pain you faced didn't come to destroy you, it came to develop you. Those tears, those sleepless nights, those breakdowns, they weren't wasted. They were molding you, preparing you, strengthening your spirit for something bigger than you imagined. You keep asking God to remove the struggle, but he's using the struggle to sharpen the gift. He's growing something in you that can't be built on comfort alone. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold doesn't refine without fire. And greatness doesn't rise without resistance. There's something powerful about going through something and surviving it. It gives you wisdom you didn't have before. It gives you depth. It gives you compassion. People may never see your scars, but your scars are what give you strength. You're not weak because you've struggled. You're strong because you've survived. And the fact that you're still standing after everything you've been through is proof that there's a purpose attached to your life. You weren't supposed to make it, but you did. Some of the best lessons you'll ever learn won't come from victories, they'll come from valleys. It's in the dark moments you learn how to pray. It's in the loss that you learn how to trust. It's in the storm you learn how to stand. And all of it is part of the plan. So when the enemy tries to shame you for your struggle, remind yourself this struggle is part of your story. And this story is going to help somebody else break free. People will always have opinions, but their opinions don't determine your assignment. You can't expect everyone to understand what God told you in private. Stop waiting for validation for something that wasn't built for their comprehension. Some folks only see the surface, they don't see the calling. They see the job you hate, the bank account that's low, the mistakes you made. They don't see the seeds God planted in your heart. That's why their opinion can't matter more than his promise. You're out here trying to convince people who weren't even in the room when God spoke to you. You're trying to explain your vision to people who don't even have the spiritual eyes to see it. That's a waste of energy. Your calling is not a group project. Sometimes God will let people doubt you on purpose just so he can show them what he put in you. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Because when it happens, it'll be undeniable that God was with you all along. You're not crazy for dreaming bigger. You're not arrogant for believing there's more. That's not ego, that's divine urgency. That's the fire in your spirit reminding you that there's something greater calling your name. And don't let their limitations become your boundaries. Just because they settle doesn't mean you have to. Just because they quit doesn't mean you were wrong to start. People will project their fears onto your future if you let them. Keep your ears tuned to God's voice and your eyes focused on His path. Let them talk while you build. Let them doubt while you grow. Because when the harvest comes, those same mouths will have no choice but to testify. Purpose unfolds in seasons. You're not supposed to be doing everything all at once. There's a time to build, a time to wait, a time to plant, and a time to harvest. But don't let frustration trick you into thinking God forgot about you. He's just working on a schedule you don't see. Some of you are in the planting season. That's the season where you do a lot and see a little. That's the season where the work is invisible, but the roots are growing. It's frustrating because nothing seems to be moving, but that's where faith is forged. Others are in the pruning season. God is cutting things back, removing relationships, shifting your circle, trimming the distractions. And it hurts because you thought those things were permanent. But He's not punishing you, He's preparing you. Then there's the testing season. That's where everything feels like it's going wrong. Doors close, people walk away, you feel lost. But it's in this season you're being refined. It's a wilderness, but it's producing the version of you that can carry the next level. And then comes the harvest season. That's when the fruit shows up. That's when the doors swing open. That's when everything that didn't make sense starts to align. But you don't get to that season if you quit in the others. Stop comparing your season to someone else's. They might be in their harvest while you're in your planting. That doesn't mean you're behind, it means you're being prepared. Your time is coming, but you have to survive the process. If you try to rush the season, you'll ruin the blessing. Trust God's timing. He knows when to release it, how to reveal it, and what you'll need to sustain it. You might think that the pain you've been through was for nothing, but nothing in your life was random. Not the heartbreak, not the job loss, not the sleepless nights. God doesn't waste pain, He repurposes it for destiny. Every scar has a story that leads to strength. Even the parts of your story you're ashamed of, God can use that too. The mistakes you made, the detours you took, the seasons where you were lost, He can take all of it and build something beautiful. There's nothing too broken for God to redeem. You thought you were just surviving, but God was shaping you. You didn't know it then, but that breakdown was part of your breakthrough. You didn't know that betrayal was going to teach you how to love yourself differently. Nothing was wasted. It's hard to believe that your worst moments could have a purpose, but they do. That addiction you conquered, that loss you endured, that season of depression, you came out wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. God allowed it not to destroy you, but to build your voice. You have something others need. You've walked through storms that would have drowned somebody else. You've cried tears that gave you vision. You've faced demons that gave you discernment. Now you carry a message inside of you that can lift someone else. You keep asking why it had to happen like that, but maybe it had to happen like that so you could become who you are today. Maybe you had to be rejected so you learned to rely on God. Maybe you had to lose them so you could finally find Him. The enemy tried to use it to bury you, but God used it to birth something greater inside you. Did you wake up this morning? That means the purpose is still in motion. The breath in your lungs is proof that God's not done with you. You might feel stuck, you might feel tired, but if you're still here, then so is your assignment. Don't mistake delay for denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Some things take time. Some doors open slowly. But as long as you're breathing, you've got time to become everything God said you could be. You've survived things that could have killed you literally or spiritually, and yet you're still standing. That's not luck. That's divine strategy. That's the purpose of preserving you, even when you didn't know what you were fighting for. Some days you wonder why you're still here. You feel invisible, overlooked, and forgotten. But God doesn't waste survival. If He allowed you to live through it, it means He's still got something for you to do. Somebody still needs your voice, your vision, your fight. Don't let age, failure, or fear convince you you're done. You're not too old, too broken, or too behind. God can restore the years you lost. He can accelerate your purpose. But you've got to stop sitting in neutral and start moving in faith. Every day is another chance to shift your life. Every sunrise is another invitation to step into something deeper. It doesn't matter what didn't happen yesterday. What matters is what you choose today. And if you can hear this, that means purpose is still knocking, still waiting, still calling your name. Purpose and comfort don't live on the same street. If you want to walk in what God created you for, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. That means letting go of the familiar, even when the familiar feels safe. You've been holding on to people, habits, jobs, and routines that are convenient but not purposeful. Comfort has become your prison. You're stuck not because you don't have potential, but because you won't let go of what's no longer part of your next chapter. Growth starts where comfort ends. That dream, that business, that calling is going to cost you. It might cost you sleep. It might cost you popularity. It might even cost you relationships. But nothing worth building comes without a price. You keep waiting for peace before you move. But sometimes peace shows up after obedience. Sometimes the clarity comes after the step. Sometimes the courage comes in the middle, not before. You won't feel ready, but you still have to go. God isn't asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be willing. Willing to trust. Willing to be stretched. Willing to walk into rooms where you feel unqualified but obedient. Willing to let go of the safe and step into purpose. Comfort is how you end up living small when God called you to live boldly. You'll never discover your true strength sitting in what's easy. You find out who you are when you step into the unknown and trust that God's already there. Purpose grows in discomfort, and if you avoid the stretching, you'll miss the blessing. One of the biggest lies is that you need to feel ready to start. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You keep waiting for a sign, a moment, a signal from the sky, but God's already put what you need inside you. You just have to move. You feel inadequate because you're focusing on what you don't have. But God never asked you to do this alone. He's not looking for perfection, He's looking for partnership. And He always equips those He calls. Always. You've got tools you don't even realize you're carrying. Life taught you some things. Pain gave you wisdom. Failure gave you resilience. Those aren't flaws, those are your weapons. You just need to stop doubting them. You're out here thinking you need more education, more followers, more confidence. But some of the most powerful people in history started with less and did more. They just believed God over their feelings. And you have to do the same. You're more ready than you think. That business idea, that book, that ministry, that shift in your life, you don't need more confirmation. You need commitment. Purpose doesn't wait on preparation, it grows through participation. You'll learn as you go. You'll grow as you move. The clarity comes while you're walking. The strength shows up when you decide to take the step. Don't let your insecurity become your excuse. You were built for this. And when you finally move, you'll see that God had already placed everything you needed on the inside. Your destiny isn't just about dreaming, it's about doing. God gives you the vision, but it's your obedience that unlocks the reality. Delayed obedience is disobedience. You keep asking God for clarity, but He's waiting for your movement. Obedience isn't always glamorous. It's not always Instagram worthy. Sometimes it's waking up early, saying no to distractions, forgiving people who don't deserve it, and making decisions that cost you comfort. That's where your future is being formed. You want the miracle, but are you willing to follow the instructions? Every miracle in the Bible started with obedience. Stretch out your hand, fill the jars, walk around the wall. The breakthrough didn't come before the move, it came after. You're praying for doors to open, but have you knocked? You're praying for increase, but have you stewarded what you already have? Obedience is the soil where favor grows. If you ignore the instruction, you'll block the blessing. Sometimes the hardest part of obedience is trusting what doesn't make sense. God will ask you to do something that looks crazy. He'll ask you to give when you're lacking, to serve when you're tired, to go when you want to stay. But every act of obedience is a seed. The path to purpose is paved with steps of obedience. Not leaps, not sprints, just steps. Small, consistent, faithful moves in the right direction. You don't have to know the whole plan. You just have to follow the voice. And when you look back, you'll realize every act of obedience carried you closer to the destiny you were born for. Too many people hold themselves back because they think they have to be perfect to be purposeful. You don't need a flawless resume or a spotless past to walk in with purpose. What you need is honesty, humility, and a real connection to your journey. People relate to real, not fake. They connect with transparency, not perfection. If you're always trying to put on a show, you'll never connect with the people your purpose is supposed to impact. Your scars are part of your power. Don't hide them. You keep thinking, I messed up too badly, or I've fallen too far. But purpose doesn't require perfection, it requires participation. God doesn't call the perfect, He calls the willing. And what makes you powerful is how real you are about your process. Your purpose might not look like everyone else's. It might come through brokenness. It might come through failure. But that doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you even more. Because when people see the real you rise, they see what's possible in themselves. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to walk on water, you just need to walk in truth. Your real story, your real struggles, your real victories, that's where the purpose shows up strong. That's where impact happens. Stop comparing yourself to people who are pretending. Some of the most polished people are the most lost. Stay true to who you are. Walk in the truth of your journey. Your authenticity is the bridge to your assignment. The world doesn't need another perfect image. It needs the real you walking boldly in who God made you to be. The moment you realize your purpose isn't just about you, everything shifts. It's not just about your smile, your success, your money, your image. It's about the people connected to your obedience. Somebody's breakthrough is tied to your yes. You've been playing small because you think your life only affects you, but lives are waiting to be impacted by your story. Somebody's waiting to hear how you overcame. Somebody's waiting to be inspired by your steps. Somebody needs to know they're not alone. When you don't show up, they don't grow. When you quit, they stay stuck. When you stay silent, they stay in chains. Your voice, your presence, your courage is just for your benefit. It's part of a bigger assignment. That business idea is not just to make you rich, it's to employ people, serve communities, and change lives. That book is not just to tell your story, it's to unlock somebody else's healing. That dream is not just for you, it's for impact. Purpose always includes people. It always reaches beyond your comfort zone. That's why the resistance feels so strong, because your obedience doesn't just shift your world, it shifts generations. You're carrying more than you realize. When you feel tired or discouraged, remember, it's not about you anymore. Your purpose is someone else's survival plan. Your resilience permits others to rise. You were chosen not just to thrive, but to lead others into freedom. The ripple effect of your purpose is bigger than your eyes can see, and that's exactly why you can't afford to give up. You've been asking, why is it taking so long? But delay doesn't mean denial. God's not punishing you, He's preparing you. Timing is training. He's developing the character to carry the calling. He's shaping your capacity behind the scenes. You want the platform, but can you handle the pressure? You want the influence, but can you stand under the weight of it? Sometimes God holds it back because He loves you too much to give you what you're not ready for. Delay is protection. Think about it, every closed door, every pause, every season of waiting, it wasn't wasted. It taught you patience. It grew your faith. It stretched your endurance. God was building something deeper than what people could see. You were focused on the destination, but God was focused on the foundation. You can't rush roots. You can't microwave maturity. You got to walk through the slow days, the silent seasons, the times where nothing makes sense. In those moments where you feel forgotten, that's where the real work happens. That's where your trust is tested. That's where your vision is refined. That's where you become who you need to be to handle what's coming. God sees the full picture. He knows the right people, the right moment, and the right alignment. What you think is a delay is divine timing, setting things up in your favor. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to launch you strong. You keep asking, what's my purpose? But the clues are already inside you. Your gifts, your talents, your instincts, those aren't random. They were custom built for your assignment. God put tools in you that align with your mission. What comes naturally to you might be your supernatural advantage. You're overlooking what you're called to because it feels too easy. But that thing you do that lights you up, that thing you can't stop thinking about, that's part of your wiring. Your gift doesn't have to look like everyone else's. Maybe you're a speaker. Maybe you're a builder. Maybe you're a problem solver. Maybe you're a listener. Stop trying to trade your gift for someone else's and start sharpening your own. The world taught you to chase fame, but purpose is found in function. What you can do effortlessly is probably what God wants to use powerfully. Don't underestimate your gift just because it doesn't come with a title or spotlight. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's always significant. When you use your gift, things shift. People notice, atmospheres change. That's how you know it's more than talent, it's purpose at work through you. Pay attention to what people always come to you for. Pay attention to what energizes you. That's God trying to show you what lane you were born to drive in. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to trust the clues. One of the biggest traps is waiting for approval. You keep hoping someone will confirm you, celebrate you, endorse you, but what if nobody ever does? Will you still go after what God put inside you? Purpose doesn't wait for permission. The world taught you to crave likes and applause, but purpose starts in silence. You have to be willing to move before anyone claps. You've got to believe in yourself when nobody else sees the vision. That's how you build real confidence. Some of the most powerful movements were started with rejection. Some of the greatest leaders were doubted, dismissed, and even laughed at. But they didn't stop. They didn't fold. They didn't let someone else's disbelief cancel their assignment. You're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. You weren't created to please crowds, you were created to follow purpose. If you keep waiting for validation, you'll stay stuck. Some people won't get it until they see it, and some still won't. Stop trying to convince people who aren't meant to come with you. Stop trying to explain your vision to folks who can't see past their fear. You've got to learn to encourage yourself, validate your voice, and walk in faith. The most powerful thing you can do is move in silence until the vision starts speaking for itself. Let your results talk. Let your fruit prove your faith. You don't need applause, you need alignment. You don't need approval, you need obedience. You weren't an accident. You weren't a mistake. You weren't a random combination of events. God handpicked you, designed for you, crafted for you with intention. There's nothing average about you, there's ambition in your DNA. Even with all your flaws, he still chose you. Even with your past, he still appointed you. Purpose isn't about being worthy, it's about being chosen. You keep looking at your shortcomings, but God's looking at your calling. Before you were born, there was a plan. Before you had a name, there was a mission. That's why certain things didn't work out, because they didn't fit the purpose. That's why some people walked away, because they couldn't carry the calling. You're not like everybody else because you weren't made for what everybody else is doing. You feel the weight because you were built to carry something heavier. You feel the pull because there's something bigger calling you forward. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing. Stop dumbing yourself down to fit in rooms that weren't built for your purpose. You were chosen. You were assigned. You were created for such a time as this. And the moment you start walking like you believe that, everything shifts. This is the season where you stop questioning your worth and start claiming your space. This is the moment where you stop waiting for signs and start walking in what's already been spoken over your life. You've been chosen on purpose, for a purpose. Pain is one of the hardest teachers, but it teaches what comfort never can. You don't get stronger by staying where it's easy. You get stronger when life knocks you down and you choose to stand back up. That pain you feel right now is not meaningless. It's part of a bigger plan that you don't see yet. You may not understand why you're going through it, but trust this, it's building something in you that comfort never could. Every tear, every heartbreak, every moment you thought you couldn't go on is shaping something powerful inside you. When God is preparing you for your purpose, he doesn't use luxury. He uses resistance. Just like muscles don't grow without strain, your character doesn't grow without pressure. So that pain you're dealing with, that struggle, that's resistance, that's growth in motion. It's proof that something is changing in you. You don't get diamonds without pressure, and you don't find strength without going through something heavy. Pain has a way of waking you up. It forces you to pay attention to what matters, to stop chasing what's fake, and start focusing on what's real. Pain strips away the distractions and reveals the truth. It reveals who you are, what you believe, and how bad you want what God has for you. Most people run from pain, but the ones who grow lean into it. They understand it's not permanent, it's part of the process. Every great person you've ever admired went through something painful. Nobody wakes up successful. Nobody walks into greatness without scars. The scars are what prove you went through the fire and made it out. If you're hurting, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're in training. It means God is toughening you up for the weight of the assignment He put on your life. You might be crying at night, but still waking up in the morning and pushing forward. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's the purpose of fighting through the pain. Don't you dare quit in the middle of it. Don't you dare let temporary discomfort convince you that your destiny isn't real. If it wasn't real, the pain wouldn't be this loud. If the enemy wasn't threatened by your future, he wouldn't be attacking your present so hard. There will be days when it doesn't feel fair. There will be days you don't want to keep going. But those are the days when you have to dig deep and remind yourself, I'm being prepared for something greater. This isn't happening to destroy me, it's happening to grow me. You don't get to propose without pressure. You don't get to destiny without some level of discomfort. And the more painful the process, the greater the potential. God will never waste your pain. Every bit of it is being used. Every tear, every setback, every closed door, it's all part of the preparation. He sees what's coming, and He knows what kind of strength you'll need to handle it. So don't curse the pain. Don't despise the struggle. It's not the end, it's a beginning you don't even see yet. The enemy will try to convince you that your past disqualifies you from your purpose. He'll whisper that you've messed up too badly, gone too far, failed too many times. But God doesn't see you as broken beyond repair. He sees you as a perfect candidate for grace. Some of the most powerful people in the Bible had the messiest stories. It wasn't their perfection that made them usable, it was their willingness to be restored. You've got to stop disqualifying yourself from what God has already chosen you for. Just because people gave up on you doesn't mean God did. Just because you've been hurt, abandoned, or made mistakes doesn't mean God's plan for you is canceled. He already factored in your failures. He knew your shortcomings before He even called you. You might walk through some darkness, but that darkness didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. What the enemy meant to break you, God can use to build you. Your pain, your trauma, your regrets, they don't make you unusable, they make you relatable. There's someone out there waiting to hear your story. They need to know that it's possible to come back from what you went through. They need to see that broken doesn't mean finished. When you open up about your story, you permit others to heal. God doesn't need perfect people. He needs willing people. He needs folks who are tired of pretending and ready to be real. People who are done hiding and ready to be honest. The most powerful ministry doesn't come from your strengths, it comes from your scars. Your struggle becomes your sermon. Your test becomes your testimony. Your failure becomes fuel for someone else's future. Stop believing the lie that you missed your chance. God is the God of second chances, third chances, 100 chances. He's not intimidated by your mess. He steps right into it and starts creating something beautiful. He doesn't throw away, He lifts you, but you have to stop disqualifying yourself. You have to say, God, I'm still here. I've been through it, but I'm ready to be used. You might feel like you're in pieces, but God can work with pieces. He's not looking for perfection, He's looking for surrender. He doesn't need you to have it all together. He just needs you to say yes, yes to the process, yes to the healing, yes to being used even while you're still healing. You don't have to wait until you're fully healed to walk in purpose. Sometimes the healing happens as you go. You're not too broken. You're not too far gone. If you've still got breath in your body, you've still got purpose. There's still more for you to do, more people for you to help, more lives for you to impact. Don't bury your gift because of your guilt. Don't hide your calling because of your shame. God already knew about your pain, and He still called you. You prayed for it. You worked for it, and it still didn't work out. That door slammed shut right in your face. And you sat there wondering, what did I do wrong? But sometimes the thing you thought was a setback is a setup for something better. Rejection feels like punishment, but it's often protection. It's God steering you away from something that looked good but wasn't good for you. Some doors didn't open because what was behind them would have broken you. You would have walked into something that looked like a blessing and ended up trapped in a burden. God saw what you couldn't. He saw what was ahead, and in His mercy, He blocked it. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it was disappointing. But what if that rejection was God's way of saving you from something you weren't ready for? You've got to start seeing rejection differently. Stop taking it personally. It's not always about you being unworthy. It's about God having something better. You might not understand it now, but hindsight will show you. You'll look back and thank God that door didn't open. You'll see how He rerouted your life for the better. That no you cried about today might be the thank you, Jesus, you shout tomorrow. Sometimes God has to block what's familiar to make room for what's divine. You would have stayed in the wrong place too long if He didn't push you out. You would have settled for less if He didn't disrupt your comfort. Rejection wakes you up. It moves you. It stirs something in you. It pushes you to look beyond what you thought was best and trust in what He knows is best. Rejection can build resilience. It forces you to pivot, to evolve, to get creative. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come after your biggest letdowns. That thing that broke your heart might be the reason you find your purpose. That job you didn't get might be the thing that launches your dream. That relationship that ended might make space for one that heals you instead of hurting you. God doesn't allow anything to leave your life without a purpose. If it walked away, if it failed, if it didn't come through, or was it meant to stay? You've got to trust that what's meant for you will never miss you. And what missed you was never meant for you. Your life is not random. Your steps are ordered. Every closed door is part of a bigger blueprint you haven't seen yet. So when you get rejected, don't let it defeat you. Let it direct you. Let it teach you. Let it refine you. The no you got today is not the end. It's a detour. It's God saying, I've got something better, keep moving. And when that better finally shows up, you'll realize the rejection was just the redirection you needed. You didn't go through all that for nothing. Every battle, every betrayal, every loss you've survived, it was preparing you. It was giving you strength you didn't know you'd need. It was toughening your spirit, sharpening your discernment, and building your backbone. You didn't just survive, you were trained, you were conditioned, you were being shaped into someone with a testimony. Some people think strength comes from what you lift, but real strength comes from what you carry and still walk with a smile. It's what you've been through and didn't let break you. That's the kind of strength that purpose requires. If your journey has been hard, it's because your calling is heavy. Light purposes don't require heavy preparation, but you were built for something weighty, something significant. You learned to pray differently after that storm. You learned to protect your peace. You learned who was really for you and who only showed up when it was easy. You got sharper, wiser, and more focused. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it nearly broke you, but it didn't. You're still standing. You're still breathing. And that means there's still work for you to do. What you survive qualifies you to speak with authority. You're not guessing, you've lived it. You've walked through fire and come out refined. You didn't just make it, you learned from it. You've got stories, wisdom, depth. People can feel that. They can tell you've been through something and didn't give up. That makes you powerful. That makes you necessary. You are not weak because of what happened. You're strong because you got through it. There's a difference between someone who's read about the storm and someone who's survived it. You've got survivor strength. You've got fighter wisdom. You've got the kind of endurance that only comes from living through most people wouldn't understand. Your pain wasn't wasted. It was used. It built you. It positioned you. It gave you empathy for others. You don't look at people the same anymore. You understand the struggle. You know what it's like to be down and have to fight your way back. That makes you a light in dark places. That makes you a leader even if nobody's giving you a title. So if you've ever questioned why your life has been so hard, remember this: tough roads build tough people. And tough people walk in powerful purpose. You were trained by the fire to shine in the darkness. Don't hide what you survived. Don't minimize your journey. It was never just survival, it was training. Sometimes it feels like we've been stripped of everything. The job is gone. The relationship is broken. The opportunity vanished before it even began. And in those moments, it's easy to believe we've been left empty. But here's the truth: God never takes without intending to replace it with something greater. He never removes without a plan to restore. When life feels like it's taken from you, don't lose heart. You may feel empty, but you're just being made ready to be filled with something far more powerful than what you lost. The reason some people stay stuck in bitterness is because they keep staring at what left them. They can't move forward because their eyes are locked on what's no longer there. But if you lift your eyes just a little higher, you'll see what God is preparing next. Sometimes God has to remove people, close doors, and silence noise so you can finally hear his voice. What you thought was rejection was protection. What you assumed was loss was preparation. You aren't empty, you're being cleared out for overflow. When God takes you through a season of loss, it's not punishment, it's placement. He's placing you where you'll be more powerful, more focused, and more in tune with your purpose. If he had let you stay where you were, you would have never known what he could truly do in your life. You would have kept settling for crumbs when he was preparing a feast. Trust that what you thought was the end is the beginning. There's more coming, and it's bigger than what you asked for. You've got to remember that God sees the whole picture. You only see the corner you're standing in. You cry over a closed door because you don't know what's behind the next one. But God does. You stress over who walked away because you don't know who's about to walk in. But God does. He will never leave you stranded in a season without providing for the next one. When God allows something to be removed, it's because he's making space for something you couldn't even imagine yet. Your hands may feel empty now, but they're open. And open hands are ready to receive. That's where God does his best work, in open space, in surrendered hearts, in people who trust him when they can't see the full plan. If you're in a place where you've lost something, stop asking why and start asking what's next. You didn't lose. You got set up. You didn't get abandoned. You got elevated. Even if it hurts now, your harvest is coming and your hands won't stay empty for long. Don't curse the silence. Don't despise the delay. Don't mistake the removal for rejection. God doesn't do empty, he does overflow. But overflow only comes after pruning. You're being refined. You're being recentered. You're being pushed out of what was into what will be. Keep showing up. Keep trusting. Keep walking. The valley may be low, but the mountain's ahead. And when you get there, you'll realize every loss was a setup for something greater. The enemy wants you to feel forgotten. But you're not forgotten, you're being focused. You're not overlooked, you're being positioned. You're not empty, you're about to be full. God isn't done with you, he's just getting started. And what's on the way is going to make you forget every night you cried, every season you doubted, every moment you felt alone. He's a God of restoration, and your comeback will silence every lie that ever told you he left you with nothing.